Welcome to Profile, Red Apple 21's monthly look at schools in Fairfax County. On this edition, we'll take you to Oakton High School, where students are encouraged to excel in academics, the arts, and extracurricular programs by an administration and staff dedicated to creating a stimulating, positive environment. See how Oakton's focus on technology, innovative teaching methods, and the creation of a close-knit school community provides an opportunity for all students to reach maximum potential. Join us for a visit to Oakton High School next on Profile. From the outside, Oakton High School, located at 2900 Sutton Road in Vienna, looks like a typical American high school. Its red brick exterior displays past triumphs. Its well-maintained grounds reflect a source of pride for the community. But inside, the administrators, staff, and students have created an atmosphere uniquely their own. Nicknamed Cougar Country after the school's mascot, Oakton is a place where new ideas are welcomed, where creativity in all areas of the curriculum is encouraged, and where students know that challenge leads to success.
Well, the goal of the school really is to provide the support system necessary for the students to achieve the goals that the community holds for its children. What we do here is to establish programs which support a positive climate within the school for teachers, students, and community members so that students will reach into academic excellence.
The staff at Oakton is not afraid to take risks when it comes to developing creative and innovative approaches to instruction. In fact, the idea of always moving forward is the school's main emphasis.
We've used several different areas for that emphasis. We have a strong emphasis in technology, because that is where the students will be in the year 2000 and 2010, which will be their lives. We have a strong interest in the library because research is going to be essential to all students and all people, all adults in years to come. We have another interest in the fine and performing arts because without that dimension, you cannot be truly sophisticated, and certainly our problem solvers need to be sophisticated with the very complex issues that they will need to address. This year, we have an interest in foreign language also. Each builds one on the other. This year we have offered Japanese and Russian, and that encourages our students to have a more accurate world view.
Although the students who attend Oakton are diverse in culture and individual interests, they all share a sense of pride in their school and an eagerness to learn.
Well, our student body, about 90% of our student body goes on to education after high school, 2 or 4 year college. Our students are very goal-centered, and they are academically oriented, basically. I think they also like to come to a place where there's more than academics going on, so we have a very strong activities program for them. I find the young people here is very giving, very concerned with humanitarian issues, and committed to those in ways that are substantive. So I would say overall it's a fine student body. We're very fortunate here.
Let's take a look now at some of the programs and activities offered at Oakton High School. But first, a point of clarification. We visited the school during homecoming week, Beach Day to be exact. So if you see people in beach wear, with painted-on sunburned noses, or even in scuba gear, realize that it's all for the sake of spirit, and just one more way students and staff show pride in being a part of this unique high school. Many educators feel that students best learn about the world and its people through studies that combine history, geography, literature, and other components of a culture. At Oakton High School, a course in world civilization does just that. Offered in a 2-period block, the class combines 9th grade GT English and World History.
The World Civ course that we have here at Oakton is primarily a coordinated program in the English department and the Social Studies department. The students earn a credit in the Social Studies program and a credit in English.
Well, I think it allows the students to really look at the culture of civilizations. The way the course is set up, we're able to study the history chronologically, and then the English literature follows along with this, so that we look at the literature in the time period in which it was written.
Okay, let's continue with the discussion that we started yesterday as you were leaving. And you were giving me a lot of your impressions of China. And I think what you're going to find, although it seemed yesterday like we were perhaps contradicting each other, that many of your impressions are correct. And the reason for that is because China is such a varied country in terms of the terrain, the climate, etc. In front of you, you've got your map of China, which is just a physical map. It shows you the outline, the political outline of the country today. But I don't want you to worry about that right now because we're going to be looking at topography and looking at the early development of China. So political boundaries are not important at this point in time. What I'd like you to do right now...
Students in the World Civ class learn about many of the components of a given culture. Some lessons will focus on geography, others on history, then move into the philosophy, religion, and literature of the people. By combining all of these elements, students develop a greater understanding of the culture.
I want you to see whether China is farther north than the United States situated location-wise. Just share if you need to do that. Share a book with somebody next to you. And look at the size relative to the United States because that will give you a little bit of a perspective on the country.
We're starting a unit on Oriental Studies, and we will be looking at the philosophy, the history, the art, particularly of China first. We would like the students to have some understanding of history of China, and we also would like them to have an appreciation of the art and culture, or at least a developing appreciation.
As students learn more about the culture, their assignments, such as reports, term papers, or group projects, require them to do research that will take them beyond the classroom lecture. In some cases, students get first-hand experience in the culture through activities like writing poetry in the classic Chinese style.
That very first poem might take me an hour to do. It might take you 5 minutes. I don't know how long it will take you. But I want to give you some flexibility in terms of time. All right. I would like to take 15 people back with me, so I'm going to take Laurie's. I'm just going to start over here with Laurie's row.
Taking the poetry one step further, students learned about illustrating their poems with paintings done in classic Chinese style. The students also learned about the ritual involved in this form of art.
Generally, what the belief is that order and ritual reflect the order in nature and harmony in nature. And therefore, ritual, ceremony, and form are terribly, terribly important. The making of the ink is a ritual. The grinding of the ink, which I'm doing right now, I go around and around on the top of the stone, and they even have a certain number of strokes that they do it. So many strokes. Then you scrape the ink.
After learning about the ritual and technique, students were ready to create their own art.
Is that what you wrote about?
I wrote about like all the dead trees and leaves and everything.
Go like this.
And
Move away from me.
see my rose? Did you? It's pretty.
I'll be
Pin rose.
Oakton High School's World Civilization class gives students the opportunity to learn about a culture from many different points of view. Through art and literature, geography, history, and more, students develop a greater understanding and appreciation of the people who make up the different cultures of the world.
We feel that we have an enriched program because the areas of study are coordinated. In the literature, we are able to study something that is being presented in history from the historical aspect. You can bring in aspects of music, science, art, literature, and do activities in both English and social studies area.
Some people still believe that computers are the future of education. But at Oakton High School, computers are not the future, but the present. And they're present everywhere. In language arts, in journalism, in geometry, and other areas of the curriculum, computers are a vital part of the instructional program. Every period of the day, Oakton students can be found working in the different computer labs.
This is my first year as a regular classroom teacher using the lab. I have been using it in both the 9th and the 10th grade classes, and the students have been primarily composing original works, which are things that are springboarded from their literature study. The students enjoy working with the computer, and I find that as a regular classroom teacher, it is an advantage to use the lab because even the reluctant writers like to use the computer and see their work on the screen.
You can see where a page ends, though, if you'd like to do that. You know how to do that? Oh, okay.
The students enjoy using computers to write their English compositions and find that the projects are more interesting because they can see their work on the screen, make revisions more easily, and print out a neat final copy.
The students are, as I said, the regular classroom 9th and 10th graders, and basically they are very active, being underclassmen. And I do find that sitting at the computer requires concentration on the part of the student, and I find that everyone participates when we're in the lab because they really, really enjoy working with the mechanics of the computer, and many of them are familiar with it because they have home computers.
At all grade levels, students take advantage of computer technology. These 11th graders find computers make writing term papers and reports much easier than writing a draft in longhand, then typing the paper in its final form. Students at Oakton also use computers for math classes. These students are working on an exercise in geometry as part of a pilot program in its first year at Oakton.
We started the pilot this year. We're using IBM software, Geometry 1 mainly. The main part we're doing this year is working, including transformations unit, a vector unit, things that are normally not within the regular geometry usual curriculum. We are using the computer lab approximately once every 3 days. The kids are going in using it to explore. We figure that whatever they can discover on their own, they can learn better, retain better. We are de-emphasizing proofs, and that's why we have some more time to do some of the other kinds of topics.
That's cool. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Well, the range is
Scale figure number.
Please.
So wait, how is A the center? Where is A?
A is behind here.
Oh, okay.
At this point, the students seem to be very enthusiastic. They come into the classroom asking if today is the good day we're going to the computer lab. They seem to enjoy learning how to use the software at this point, which is what we've done a lot of. And now we're going to be using more and more of it to discover concepts that normally we would have just given them through theorems and mostly through demonstration.
Oh my gosh.
This computer pilot program places less emphasis on memorizing theorems and proofs and gives students more time to explore and discover concepts on their own.
Hey guys, some people are using keep. It makes it easier to see what's happened when you use keep.
Do you want us to draw this? We put 115 in.
You did 115?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you just go back and use a bigger number?
Well, it's made a big difference in, of course, the geometry pilot. We're also going to be using other classes, Algebra 2, Algebra 1, I know are the two classes that the other pilot teacher and I are going to be using in the lab. And we have software that could be used for all the way up through pre-calculus.
Students at Oakton are finding that computers are becoming an important part of their school day. Computer technology is changing the way students write research papers, do geometry problems, even the way they find out about what's going on at school, because computers are also used to produce Oakton's newspaper, The Outlook.
Well, in the past, what we've done is the students type their paper on a manual typewriter or electric typewriter, and then we took it to a man who had his typesetter, put it into a typeset. Then we went over and we did what's called cut and paste. We'd cut and pasted and laid it out on a grid. And at that point, he shot pictures of it. Because we're doing all the layout ourselves and we're doing all the typing, it has cut our production costs at least in half.
We'll move. Okay, we'll move this story. No, okay, I know what we'll do. We'll have to go back to them. We'll move this story over here.
Okay. The first thing that the students do is they go into the lab and they type their stories on the Macintosh plus computer. And once it is put into the computer, we copy edit, correct it on the computer, and then we put it onto one of the computers with a hard disk drive, which is, at that point, we bring it into a program called PageMaker for layout. And we do all of the layout completely on the computer.
Now, I don't know how we're going to move the title over. We have to line it up also.
Yeah.
There, that's perfect. Although it's not. Just put it right there for right now.
The Outlook has been produced on the Macintosh computer for about 2 years, so students who have experience in editing and layout on the Mac often help students new to the process.
How do you bring the line down?
Just go up 2.
Computers have had a significant impact on the way students at Oakton learn, explore, and create. The students are eager to work in the computer labs and experiment with all that the technology has to offer, and along with their teachers, are pleased with the advancements brought about by the labs and hope to see computers used even more in the future.
I think all of us feel that the computer lab is a tremendous advantage for our programs. I think all of us feel that we need more computers, where we never seem to have enough because it's such a popular thing and the students so enjoy using it and get so much from it.
The arts are very important at Oakton High School, and students are encouraged to develop their talents in a number of ways. For students enrolled in art and photography classes, Oakton's Art Gallery provides a showcase for work and also an incentive to produce paintings, drawings, sculptures, and photographs of high quality.
The gallery started about 2.5 years ago with an idea from a former teacher who was here. She thought it would be important to have a definite place where we could put up artwork instead of just in our room, someplace that was more like real life. And the kids seemed to be extremely interested in developing it. We got some support from the county. We got plenty of support from our principal. And it was a fait accompli in about 4 months.
2 years ago, the Art Gallery provided the setting for a Red Apple 21 special on an exhibition in honor of Black History Month. Then, as now, students were responsible for framing and hanging the artwork and making sure the gallery would look its best for the exhibition.
Or maybe we should switch them and put this one on top.
Well, I think it's real important for the students, and also it helps promote the arts and makes students and the public aware that the arts are still alive and well here at Oakton.
The students are very proud of their gallery and want it to reflect the quality of their work and the quality of instruction in Oakton's art department.
The students are very excited when their work is going to go in. I know I'm preparing a show to go in November for photography. And we're also concerned about getting good work in the show, as well as a piece from everyone who participates. So there's kind of a little extra added attraction. They bring their friends by who maybe do not take art, and it's open every lunch hour, all during the lunchtime, and there are always students in there looking at the works. So it seems to be a motivator as well as just a nice thing to have in a school.
Oh, I feel definitely it's a positive reinforcement, and it's also an excellent motivator. We just don't seem to have enough room to display all the work because everyone wants to be in the gallery.
The art gallery has been the scene of numerous exhibitions involving many different students and departments in the school. The unique design, the amount of student involvement, and the visibility it has given to young artists has made it a real source of pride for those who have helped create this art showplace.
It brings to mind one comment that one of the students made. The first opening that we had in the gallery, the kids were inside, and it was very quiet and very nice in there, and they said, "This is a real class act." And that's sort of how we feel. It's not just, it's something that's even extra school or out of school, and we're trying to keep it as professional as possible.
Students in Oakton High School's Theater Arts Department learn a great deal. They learn how to deliver lines, they learn about facial expression, they learn to act alone or as part of an ensemble. They even learn to dance. Well, sort of. In short, they learn to communicate.
We are working on communications. Learning to communicate with your inner self, learning to communicate with the people around you, and through reading, through studying other plays, other works of literature, to communicate with the characters involved in those works, and to translate through yourself to an audience what the feelings of those people are.
All right, were they fat or skinny?
Through classroom exercises, students develop the skills necessary to become successful communicators. They learn that an actor's most important tools are the voice, the body, and the mind. And much of the class is spent teaching the students how to make these components come together.
For the scientist will maintain the circle in the chairs because he's a professional. But when we get up to interrogate the little kid, we'll stand up and you'll sit in the middle.
No, I'll sit here. He'll walk around.
Okay. And he'll be talking and I'll be demanding the prompts. Okay, that'll work.
For this assignment, students work together in small groups preparing dialogues. And although the activity stressed vocal quality, the students found that facial expression and blocking were also important. During class, the Oakton Theater students work on a variety of assignments. This one, called a machine, requires students to work as an ensemble and play off of each other's actions. In addition, this machine had the added vocal component.
I haven't seen you. Come yonder. I haven't seen you. Take a risk. Come on, take a risk. Come on in. I haven't seen you. Come yonder. I haven't seen you.
Dad, what does Mom say?
I haven't seen you.
Dad, what does Mom say?
The students learn that an actor's role requires much more than memorizing and reciting lines. They learn that an actor must react to the situation and incorporate that reaction into the scene.
My car got stuck. I wish it would stop.
Can I help you?
This exercise began with one student making a statement. The next student was required to react to that statement, then make one of her own. One by one, students joined in, reacting to the previous statement, then making one of their own.
It was snowing so hard today. My car got stuck. I wish it would stop.
Can I help you? It's cold. I guess this means school's off. Let's go skiing.
No, let's get everybody in the neighborhood together for a game of football in the snow. That'd be so fun.
No way. I'd break a nail.
Oh, nice.
Oakton's Theater Arts Department offers 4 levels of theater, 1 through 4. Students at all levels are encouraged to try out for parts in the productions and learn from day one that everyone is given an equal chance to participate and develop their talents as a performer and communicator.
I started this year and will continue with the idea that the productions that I pick and the work that we do in class will all be to reinforce that no one is a star, that this Theater Arts Department is not the Star Maker system. That what we are here about what we're here for is to work on a production collaboratively. Now, if one person has more lines than the other, that doesn't make them a star, and that everybody, backstage, on stage, is as important to the production as anybody else. And I think that, if I had to state a philosophy, it would be that there is no star, and that everybody is as important as everybody else.
In addition to the comprehensive instructional program, Oakton High School also has a variety of extracurricular activities, giving students the chance to get involved in areas of special interest, such as student government.
Okay, so if we decided we want to do it, we both feed at the same time. Then we only need 8 pies, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think that's.
During this meeting, members of the SGA planned a pie eating contest as part of a homecoming pep rally. Also preparing for homecoming, the drill team rehearsed a routine in the hallway after school. From early morning into the evening, Oakton High School is alive with activity. Activities are an important part of the school day for the students at Oakton, and the variety and quality of programs provides an element of enrichment that will stay with students all through their school years. One special event that will stay with students even longer took place at Oakton a few years ago. Former President Ronald Reagan and former Secretary of Education William Bennett took part in a panel discussion on education before an audience of Oakton students.
The time when he was actually here was perhaps a real high point for those who were here then. The president was very gracious, seemed to honestly like students, and it was lovely to have him here. I think that the students felt that they participated in something that was unique, perhaps in their lifetime, to be so close to the president and be willing to, and for him to be willing to answer their questions.
Mr. President, will you honor Oakton High School with your presence at graduation?
What's it? Wait a minute.
The administrators, staff, and students at Oakton High School have created an atmosphere in which opportunity, innovation, and challenge lead to success. The goals that have been established for the school focus on preparing students for the future, and these goals are being met by a strong academic program, varied extracurricular offerings, and unique learning opportunities. This combination is making a difference at Oakton for students who will make a difference in our future.